Welcome to Left in the South podcast. I'm your co-host David, and I'm here with Caleb. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited for this podcast.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, we've been really busy for the past week. I have exams, essays to write. So Caleb. So this.
Yeah. So if you want to complain about the lateness of the podcast, if you are one of our few listeners, first of all, subscribe to my Patreon. That's a requirement. Before you can even speak to me, you have to be subscribed to my Patreon. That's just kind of like a relationship.
We got it's the winter right now. Times are tough. I don't think I might not make it type deal.
Yeah, like I need gas to get home for Christmas. Like there's a blizzard going on, record-breaking temperatures, and all I gotta say is we have a $1 tier on our Patreon. We have a $1 tier.
Hell yeah, dude. That's like $1. That's one ramen right there.
Yep. Anyway, now that we're done plugging ourselves, what has been going on this week, David? I'm excited to talk about this.
A lot of things have been going on, dude. I registered for my classes, took some essays. But one thing I'm trying to do more lately is try to get back into streaming on Twitch.
Oh, really? The fucking nerd platform. Okay. How's that going?
Bro, it's going alright, dude. People like, watching me stream, aka my friends farming my stream. But, sometimes we have a random or two and they come in and follow, and that makes me feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what our podcast is too, right? So.
Hey, I mean, yeah, it's pretty small. It's our friends watching it. Thank you for supporting us, by the way. We really appreciate it.
Not on Patreon, obviously, because none of them have subscribed to us on Patreon, but maybe one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool, dude. Why don't you say your stream on the pod so that people can hear it?
Yeah. If you want to, watch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/thepilotcs. I try to go live at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, yes, check him out. I can't promise it'll be as interesting as the podcast because obviously I won't be there all the time. So, but David's pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah, well, I saw you doing your overhaul thing on on Twitch. That was cool. He got like all his new shit, all his new logos. He made it all cute and stuff. David's a very ritualistic person, I've noticed. Like whenever you have an idea for something, you always you set it up. Yeah, it's not that you go all out. Like usually you do, but what I mean is you are very particular about where you have to be before you can start. So like whenever you say I want to start streaming on Twitch, you don't just go live on Twitch. You set up your Twitch account, you make sure you create a Twitter, you get a little publicity going, you get a retweet from your friend, and then you go live. You overthink things a lot, which is good because it means you care. But I just have noticed that about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just something I've noticed.
I mean, I just want to be prepared before I start something, Yeah. If you go into it, fucking with no preparation, like you're kind of just freeballing it. I don't know. Yeah. I like to have a little bit of preparation and then, add a little me spice on that, like crank little me on there.
Yeah, case in point, I mean, when we created this podcast, David literally paid for, conceptualized, and created a logo before I had even finished editing the first episode. So, that's a good example.
Yeah, I mean, I just want things to, I want it to look nice, people are not going to come by and they don't even have a Twitter banner or their logo's pretty shit, right? Like we have to separate ourselves from the herd, It's like, why listen to us?
I mean, obviously there's a great reason to listen to us because our opinions are better than yours. I feel like I've said this before, but it's just a fact.
Yeah, that's true. But people also, before they even click on our podcast, they're going to see before they hear. So, you want, something to look nice to represent yourself. That's why I also bought, me and Doug used to play on the same Counter-Strike team called Constant Rage. I bought the logo for the team. Just out of my pocket. I mean, it was $20.
And he was the outsider too. I mean, that was a big thing for him because when David and I met, we actually met through the internet. We should tell the story. We were my friend Matt and my other friends were creating a Counter-Strike team, which is a video game if you're not a nerd. And we were trying to be competitive Counter-Strike players. So we were creating a team and we had 3 core people, so we needed 2 more. And I put out this ad on the internet to try to find someone who was just tolerable, at least okay at the game, and tolerable personality. And David responded and joined our Discord. And normally whenever we played with other people, they would just join and play. They would practice and play the game with us, but then they would just leave and we'd all just be there by ourselves talking because we were friends outside of the game. But when David joined, he would hang around after practice and actually just play other games and talk to us. And he just over time became a member of the team, like a member of the Discord, a member of our like friend group, even outside the game. Yeah. So like that's how David and I met, literally through Counter-Strike. It's very lame.
We don't play Counter-Strike at all anymore. So.
No, we don't. I'm happy that we met that way though. Yeah. I feel like that it was such a chance encounter for you to like read my ad and just so happened to join. And I feel like life would have been really different if we'd never met.
Yeah, that is honestly insane. Like, Grunt, he's one of my best friends, Matt, like you guys, accepted me into your little friend group. And, because I used to, I obviously have other friends who I hang out with, but I definitely hang out with you guys a lot more now.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I don't know. It would be weird if you weren't here, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, like, how it would be.
I know, it makes me think how many, like, chance encounters in life you come across that totally change your life. Because when you think about it, anytime you do something that has a long-term effect, you're basically splintering into a different reality. Like, because if you think about it as, like, a point where there's a fork in the road, and either I met David or I didn't meet David. Like, once you go down that road, it diverges totally because the beginning point is so different.
Like, it's been 4 years, I think, 2015, and the year's coming to a close. Like, honestly, it's felt like I'm still in 2016 hanging out with you guys.
Exactly. Like, there's so many things that would have been totally different. So many conversations I would never have had. So many videos I never would have watched. So many stories I never would have heard. And I don't know, I feel like whenever I think about that, it kind of blows my mind. To anyone, I mean, like, with you, it's easier to think about because I met you so recently. But even anyone, like, if I had never met Matt, we've been friends for, like, 8 years almost. So it's, like, or, like, 6 or 7 years. I can't really fucking remember. But it's been so long that it's, like, my whole life would have been different if I'd never met him. It's different. I don't know. It's weird. Or what if you'd never been born or something? I guess life wouldn't be that different if you were never born. Dab.
Honestly, I don't know what I would have. I probably would have hanged out with whatever Counter-Strike team I joined.
Yeah, I bet you would have been an alt-right person if you'd never met us. I bet.
That's not even true at all. How?
I just feel like, it's not because you're like a bad person. I just feel like you're you're very like you're very passionate. So if you like surrounded yourself with right-wing people and like you never heard about any other stuff, I feel like you would have been like the most passionate right winger, like Sargon of Akkad level.
So are you saying that I'm morally lucky that I'm a leftist?
Yes, I am saying that. That's a really good concept. I'm surprised you knew about that. That's like such a fucking annoying thing that people talk about all the time. You're more on the internet than I expected.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm all over the internet, dude.
Morally lucky.
I've recently, getting more into Twitter. Honestly, like, I see Twitter as my Reddit now. I like,
really?
I check Twitter, then I check Reddit. Yeah.
I've kind of like begrudgingly started doing it. This is exactly what I did when I started using Reddit. Is basically like I had heard that people loved it, but I thought that the website was fucking trash, and I had no idea how to use it. And I was like, this is fucking garbage. But I knew everyone used it, so I just forced myself to go on there for like 20 minutes a day, and now I fucking am addicted and can't stop using it. Yeah, I'm trying to do the same thing with Reddit, Twitter, where I try to force myself to go on like a certain amount of time every day to try to get myself to learn how to use it so that I can actually start using it. It's kind of lame because when you think about it, you're literally forcing yourself to use like a corporation's product so that they can farm advertisements off of you because you want to be included in the conversation. It's pretty sad when you think about it.
I never felt like that. Like for me with Reddit, I just never heard of Reddit. Like I didn't know what Reddit was.
Yeah.
And, like I kind of didn't understand what Reddit is. And like I don't know how the fuck I like got any information from because I used to also look at news articles. Like I think before Reddit, I used to look at Google News like all the time.
Yeah, same.
Like, first thing in the morning, look at Google News to see what's up, and like the Reddit, it's just like there's like funny shit and there's like news and there's a lot of shit's pretty useful.
Yeah.
And for Twitter, for me, it's more recently becomes like what's my friends doing, like what's interesting, like what's going on, and I also see some funny shit. So it's a little like it's a more personalized Twitter. I mean like. Personalized Reddit even.
I agree. I think that Reddit is cool because if you know how to use it, you can make it useful. Like if you're subscribing to all the default subreddits, it's going to be trash because there's like a trillion people on there. But if you go and like subscribe to a lot of small subreddits of like communities that you actually enjoy and want to be a part of, you can have really a great experience on Reddit. I feel like Twitter is kind of similar in the sense that you have to set it up to be like the Twitter that you want to engage with rather than just what it comes as. Because as it is now, I basically went to like a bunch of people that I know and started following people that they follow. Because if you don't follow anyone, you're just going to be fed like these shitty popular tweets that you literally don't give a shit about. So you have to kind of set it up first to make it usable.
Actually, I don't use Reddit at all like that. Like I log out on my phone. I'm logged on Reddit, so I just only see the front page on the Reddit is Fun app.
Yeah.
And like I just go off and look at that because the subreddits I follow on my account are like some shitty like ARK subreddit, like subreddit. I don't want to see that shit. Like that's from like years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I spent like a good 30 minutes setting mine up so that way I could only see the stuff I wanted. Basically, if you want to see like the popular quote unquote stuff, you can go to r/all and just look at all the top subreddits. But if I want to get like news or like leftist propaganda, I go to my front page.
But honestly, Twitter, I feel like you also have the chance to, kind of be more funny. Like you're like, but basically I see Twitter is like, all right, it's time to post a fucking joke.
Right.
Like, and then I hit the Twitter.
It's not so serious.
Button. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of Twitter, by the way, some shit has been popping off. Have you seen this story about this fucking cop on Twitter?
No, what was it about?
Basically, this cop went into a Starbucks and one of the baristas put pig, like when they put your name down, she put pig. And
that is funny as fuck.
It's funny as fuck, dude. And the cop was like so offended, and Starbucks made this whole public apology saying like, we're so fucking sorry that we like disrespected you. And people on Twitter were talking about like, these people put their lives on the line and you're just gonna fucking do this to them. It's like someone killed someone. I don't get why people are so mad about it. It's like, oh, I didn't realize someone fucking died in a Starbucks.
Starbucks fucking the people, the CEO, they went on the boots of the cops.
Yeah, like please don't fucking. Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. And the guy got fired, of course. But the funniest fucking part, and this is where the Twitter comes in, the cop's name was Omara, and his daughter gets on Twitter after the story breaks, and she posts basically saying, yeah, this is my dad, and he is a piece of shit. Like when we were growing, he is a pig and he is a piece of shit. This is Omara talking, and she's like, when we were growing up, he was openly racist and like would say slurs and stuff that I don't want to repeat on Twitter and stuff like that, and basically saying like he should not be a cop, he shouldn't be allowed to have a gun and like all this shit. And then that tweet blew the fuck up, and then he saw his own daughter's tweet, and he was like trying desperately to get her to take it down, but she wouldn't. It was fucking hilarious.
That's so funny as fuck.
It's so funny. I love how this shit just blows up in these people's faces because they're such pieces of shit that like you can literally call them a pig and people will still be on your side because they're so shitty.
Like it blew up in his favor, and he's like, yes.
Yeah. And then oops.
I was like, fuck. And like none of that would have happened if he just had made a big deal out of it.
Right, exactly. And like it makes you I hope that it's making him realize how much people fucking hate cops. Like, and maybe he'll change, like be a better person. I hope. I doubt it, Hopefully. But I fucking hope.
Yeah, most likely not.
Yeah, but I mean at the end of the day, like people hate cops. Like the average people hate cops. And like maybe if cops knew that, they would treat people with more respect. I have no idea, maybe not. But like I don't think it's wrong to say your opinion about cops. I mean, it's not the same as fucking killing someone. Like, people who get on Twitter and unironically say, like, oh, they're sacrificing their life. It's like, okay, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But writing pig on a cup is not the same as, like, killing someone or fucking... You're not denying them any rights. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just writing pig on a fucking cup, so stop crying about it. Holy shit.
Yeah. Dude, speaking of cops, dude, have you seen that Twitter video of the guy who was... he literally got put into, like, a holding for an interview in China because he was in a group chat with 72 other people. Like, he said something about how like the cops are like, bad in China, and they literally took his ass and like, why'd you say this? He's like, oh, I was just drunk, I didn't mean it.
Wait, where did this happen?
It was on Twitter. It was like a Twitter video that was uploaded.
Oh, from someone who lives in China?
Of the interview. I don't know who posted it.
Okay.
Like I just saw it on Twitter. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, they're literally going off as like, yeah, we've been looking at your shit. We detected that you fucking talking shit about the police. What are you gonna? You're gonna apologize? They're like, oh, okay, so you were drunk. He was like, yeah, I didn't mean to say. It's like, bro, he obviously wasn't fucking drunk. He's so scared of the police, like hurting his family or doing whatever to him, that of course he's gonna apologize and fucking kiss the feet that they're fucking staying the ground on with.
Obviously,
I mean, like, yeah, it's so sad too.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't like. I'm assuming that person lives probably in China or in Hong Kong. The person who got caught, China. Right? Like, a lot of people think that shit only happens overseas, but this shit happens in the U.S. literally all the time. Did you hear about the comedian who got arrested for making an ICE joke?
No.
Basically, this comedian, his name is Jake Flores. I just found the article. He said. He basically made a joke about killing ICE agents. He says that he made a joke about Cinco de Mayo in 2018. He said, here's how Cinco de Mayo works in 2018. White people can culturally appropriate on the condition that you help to destroy ICE. Kill one ICE agent, get to wear a sombrero. 2 kills, you can wear a poncho. 3rd kill, you can draw a mustache on your face in Sharpie. 5 kills, you can do skull paint, and etc. etc. 100 kills, you get to just be a full-on racist and no one can tell you anything about it.
That is funny as
That's
fuck.
funny as fuck.
That is funny as
So,
fuck.
I mean, that's a funny joke. And he basically, like, posted it on the internet. And the very next day, the ICE showed up at his door and, like, knocked his door at, like, in the fucking 9 o'clock in the morning and, like, came into his house without a warrant and, like, questioned him about it. And, like, basically he was like, yeah, I'm a fucking comedian. It's a joke. But, like, this kind of shit happens in America.
That's
like, they
up.
will arrest you in your home if you dare to fucking question it. I mean, he's not inciting violence. He's a comedian. It's a fucking joke. You can get arrested for what?
He didn't get arrested, did he?
No, luckily he did not get arrested. Yeah, but, I mean, this stuff happens all the time.
Because, you can say, like, oh, like, you can say, I wish the president got killed. You can say shit like that.
Right.
But like, you can't say I'm gonna kill the president. I'm joking, of course. I don't want to kill the president.
Well, you're making a quote in the third person. Making a quote. You're right.
Yeah,
satire. Anyway, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And obviously they knew that, so they didn't arrest him. But the point is, though, is that they don't do it just to arrest you. And first of all, I like how you said that would be illegal. And you're not wrong. It would be illegal. But the thing about ICE is they're basically extrajudicial because of the fact that they prey on, like, weak and minority people that don't have a lot of representation. They're able to do shit that's illegal because no one can stop them. Because the people that they do it to have no recourse. And the people who that actually could do something either don't want to, or they don't realize that it's actually a problem, or regardless of what it is, they are able to just do shit that's illegal all the time. And, like, when they came into this guy's house, it's not illegal, but I mean, like, they're doing it to intimidate him. They're doing it to make sure he doesn't, like, other people know, hey, we're gonna fucking bust your door down if you tweet about killing us on Twitter, or, like, if you tweet that you disagree with us, or whatever the thing is, we're gonna come to your fucking house. That's the message that they want to send. So they don't even have to arrest him because he's famous. Other regular people see that and they're like, holy shit, they come to this guy's house and he's famous. Imagine what they're gonna do to me. And then they maybe think twice about posting that tweet, or maybe think twice about, expressing their opinion on ICE. You were talking about Hong Kong earlier. Did you hear about the Hong Kong Act that the Congress, like, passed in America?
Yeah. I believe we also talked about this in the Patreon podcast, by the way.
Yeah, that was before we were talking about how they were considering passing a bill, but between last episode and this episode, they actually did pass it. So I kind of wanted to talk about what it does a little bit, because in general, I agree with it, but it's kind of, I don't know. So basically, like, what the act does is it tells the Congress that there's going to be an annual report on any violations of the United States export control laws and United States sanctions occurring in Hong Kong. And basically every year they're going to review those reports and see any, like, human rights violations and stuff that are going on in Hong Kong, and they'll decide once a year whether or not to impose sanctions on China. So basically, this bill doesn't necessarily do anything right away, but it basically just says, hey, if China does not get their shit under control by the time we do the review, we're going to impose sanctions on them.
That's crazy, because, like, that's probably going to come up soon. You know what I mean?
Yes, it is. So, right, so, like, within the year, basically, China has to not be arresting and killing people and shit like that. So, I mean, of course that's not going to happen, most likely. So
I wish a lot of countries also proposed a bill like this one. Yes, this is a really smart bill.
I agree. And the thing about it is, I don't like the idea of the U.S. in its current form, in this right-wing, like, regime. I don't like the idea of the U.S. being able to, leverage political power in other countries, because I disagree with the ideology of the government right now. But in general, I agree with bills like this because this is not a military action, but China relies on us economically a lot, just the same way we do. We have the ability to make a decision who to do business with in the world, and we shouldn't be doing business with people that do shit like this. I mean, it's really that's really just the bottom line. Like, it's an easy choice to make. Not doing business with someone doesn't kill anyone, like, you know, like we do in other places. So I agree with bills like this in general, and I like this. I like this, but I'm interested to see how the reporting and sanctions actually go, because if the annual report is things like, you know, in this right-wing government, it might be that they really don't care about certain human rights violations as much, because I would argue things like products of capitalism, I would argue, are human rights violations, right? But of course, the free market is not a human rights violation to these people, so it's kind of different. So in my mind, it could be good, it could be bad, but either way, legislation like this has to be passed at some point, because otherwise China is just free to do what they want, and we're literally funding them, which is fucked up. So yeah, I agree with this bill.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Like, way before even this happened, I kind of really didn't like China, like, at all, but it was for environmental reasons. Right. But I'm pretty sure, like, throughout this year, like, I'm pretty sure, like, their emissions have gone way more down than ours has. So honestly, I think I'm pretty much disappointed in the United States that, like, how bad, like, we're creating, like, you know, the effects we're having on the environment right now.
Yeah, and the reason for the Chinese thing, and I don't even, like, on one hand, obviously, I agree that, yes, it's bad to emit so much like China does. But on one hand, I think that. And then on the other hand, I think
it's our fault.
Not only is it our fault, but also it's kind of hypocritical for us to criticize them in this way. Because the reason that the United States is able to have, the reason that the United States is so successful today is because of the insane amount of industrialization that we were able to achieve during and after World War II and during the Cold War and leading up to the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s and shit. Like, the way that we were able to industrialize this country in such a way was unprecedented in the world. And that is why the U.S. propelled itself to the top of everything in the span of a century, which is incredible. And China is basically trying to do the same thing now, and the entire world is shaming them. Every other advanced economy did the same thing. China is late because of their position in the world, because of their access to natural resources, etc. But they're going through the same stages that we did. And I feel like it's right. It is right to criticize that. But it's very, I'd say, shameful coming from people like us, where we have done literally nothing to curb our emissions. We've known about this since like the 90s, because, you know, Exxon released that fucking that study in the late 80s about the emissions.
Well, it's also the people we have in you know, in the office, dude. Like, they fucking don't even believe this shit.
Right, exactly.
You know, so, like, if we had some people with fucking you know, a brain in the office, like, maybe we could have, you know, prevented, you know, some of this.
Exactly. And you can even help other countries as well, because we have to admit that, yes, if no economist, no environmental scientist will tell you unfettered market growth cannot happen with climate change action. Like, those two things are not compatible. So for countries, what that means is, in order for a country to reduce its emissions to a point where it's appropriate, so that the environment is not going to be fucked any more than it already is, it means that economically they're going to have to spend a lot of money. It's going to cost a lot. It's not going to be profitable in the short term. So when we expect developing countries like China and India to not emit things, we're basically asking them not to become an advanced economy like us. And I would argue that that's not only is it not fair, but also I would argue that it's our obligation as advanced economies to assist them by investing in things like renewable energy, renewable resources, so that they can kind of skip that step, the industrialization step, the part that we already all went through. They can skip that if we help them, but we refuse to help them because obviously it's not profitable in the short term. But there will be no profit in the long term if there is no human life on this planet. So in my mind, it's an obligation that we're failing to satisfy.
Yeah, one thing I've also noticed is, like, countries like Vietnam, Thailand, they're actually going through what India and China were going through. So, like, now that India and China are you know, players that are going up in the rankings in the world, like, they're starting to use these other smaller countries now. It's like, now they're gonna get the countries that are gonna be like fucked, you know.
Right. Yeah.
India and
Yes.
China.
Exactly. They're expressing their imperial will on smaller countries that are in the position that they were in no less than 50, 60 years ago. It's exactly the same thing. And yeah, like the US did that and we continue to do that, but then we look down on other countries who do the same. So I mean, the bottom line is that we have to, as a country, be the example that we want other people to follow. And that will never happen while we have someone like, obviously like this in office. But really, there is a short list of people that would, I think, that would actually change the things that we need to change. One of those people, I hope, is Bernie Sanders. But we'll see, I guess, whenever he gets in office.
New Green Deal. I'm excited for that. I'm a huge environmentalist. I fucking, I hope that, the Earth is here for like a long time and us on it, of course.
Yeah.
But since we're in the Asia region, dude, North Korea, missiles again, dude, in the Japanese Sea.
I guess they're running low on fucking humanitarian aid funds from last time when they shot their missiles off the Sea of Japan. They do this like annually. I feel like it's like it must be like the North Korean New Year celebration,
Yeah. I actually think it is. I'm pretty sure they have some sort of like celebration where it's like they show off their army and like their missiles and shit.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's weird because it happens every single year. They shoot like 1 or 2 ballistic missiles into the sea, and then Japan is like, if you do shit, we're gonna slap you, and then no one does anything, and then the U.S. like. Well, not just the U.S., but all countries will like give them money to help them with humanitarian aid, which isn't bad. I mean, the people of North Korea need help, but the government of North Korea doesn't.
Not getting it.
Right, exactly. The North Korean government is literally just doing this to extort money from people because it's much easier to do that than it is to like actually develop their country.
It's so crazy because like people in like China and South Korea, they have to send these care packages just so they can actually get like what they need, like the food and like personal stuff that they need.
Yeah, I went through a kick recently watching YouTube videos of like North Korean defectors who came to South Korea or China.
Food, right?
Yeah, and they'll like try different things and food and stuff. It's so interesting. Like the way that they talk so nonchalantly. There's this one guy who was just talking about like how he like watched his family die or something. And it was just so nonchalant. And then he was talking about how like they executed someone like by shooting him, and he was like, I had no idea that a human body had so much blood in it. Like that was the first time that I ever saw someone die. And he's like, they shot him in the head and his brain fell out. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on?
It's because they're so desensitized.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like. And it's because they have concentration camps even in North Korea. Like there's places where people spend like prison in like tiny fucking boxes.
Right. Yeah. Labor camps. Yeah. Like the Boer War or whatever. Crazy. I mean, it's disgusting. I don't know what the answer is.
Slaves too.
Do what? I'm sorry.
They like sell slaves, but like there's like imported workers and like they don't get paid at all, and it's like just so North Korea gets a little more change.
All workers who labor under the force of a capitalist are slaves, David.
All right. Yeah, that's honestly something, and they're like, I feel like every time too, like they're like, all right, let's escalate a little more, so they can give us some more shit. Like they warned Japan they might see a real ballistic missile soon.
Yeah, they're like, we finally remember in like 2016 or 2015 when they created the missile that was able to reach the US for the first time?
California.
Yeah. That was such a huge story.
Like, oh shit, dude, what if Los Angeles gets blown up?
Yeah. It's like, come on, guys. Relax a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what the answer to the North Korea thing is. Obviously, I'm against, any foreign wars. I'm against. But I don't know what the answer is, because when I guess like just economic sanctions and like pressure from global society is really all you can do. Stopping short of full-on war.
Everyone's basically doing that. The only reason why they're still standing is because they have China backing them.
Right. Yeah.
I think they're the only country that's really backing them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really important division between communist China and, South Korea, and like it doesn't sound important, but like having a cultural buffer between two cultures is actually so important, because
it stops the spread of that one culture.
Right,
it's like exactly like in civilization, dude. Like you get that cultural pressure coming in from all the other countries. Dude.
Exactly. It's kind of funny, but you're like 100% right. It really does help them. So they want that, and they like their position there. So
Yeah, but like North Korea is this like gray, like we only fuck with ourselves type shit, and it's super weird that like we're living in 2019, and here we have North Korea.
Yeah, have you ever seen a picture, like a satellite picture from like at night in North Korea, where you can see
like
South Korea? You can actually see the militarized border like perfectly etched out because of the difference in light pollution. It's incredible to see.
Then
and like you can see big cities in North Korea.
Yeah, hopefully in my lifetime, like something gets done about North Korea.
Yeah, I hope they reunify. Honestly, that would be awesome.
That'd be I think that'd be the coolest if that would happen. But I think it's highly unlikely.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, as long as, I think that climate change is really the one thing that's is going to prevent the like. I like to think that in general the world kind of moves towards more equality. In general over time, even if it's really slow, but I feel like climate change
happiness is going up overall.
Right, exactly, and like people are becoming more equal. There's less marginalized groups. Not to say that there aren't any, because obviously there are a ton, and I'm not downplaying that at all. I'm just saying in general, I think it gets better over time. So in my mind, I think maybe there will be some day where the world is like truly an equal society, and like we all share one experience and one great society. Like I imagine that would happen eventually, but I think climate change is the one thing stopping it, because if you think about all the ecological disasters that we're going to face in the short term, in the near future, like the mass migration that's going to go on throughout Earth is going to be insane. People are going to be displaced. There's going to be thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people coming up from the southern border of the U.S., from the eastern border of the EU. It's going to be crazy, and I'm scared and I fear for the future. I have no idea what's going to happen there. I'll probably be old, but I mean, hopefully either I won't have kids, or hopefully we'll solve it by then.
Yeah, Miami is like gonna be underwater, and I'm gonna have beachfront property in Florida. Like it's sad to see like those the images. It's like a slideshow of like the polar ice caps melting, and it's like fuck, dude, it's so tiny now. like honestly, I'm scared that climate change is gonna be our great filter.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that it's the scariest problem that human beings have ever faced.
Yeah, because it's a problem for everybody. It's going to affect everybody in the world.
Yes, it's not only a problem for everyone, but it seems that the one thing stopping us from solving it is our own hubris. It's us. Yeah. We're the enemy, and that's what makes it so hard. Because every other thing that we can solve, just do a little more research, spend a little bit more money, but you can't really do that here. So.
Yeah, it's like we could solve the problem so easily if everyone just agreed.
Right, exactly.
Dude, let's do it. But nah, I kind of want to make some fucking bank.
Yeah, I kind of want to make some short-term profit. It's really hard to empathize beyond the span of your own life, though. I agree with that.
Actually, I don't agree with that, because
really?
I want there to be somewhere that because I think I'm gonna have kids in the future. I always want there to be a place for my kids and their kids for the future. I want humanity to go on past me.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I am sad that I am like gonna die one day and miss out on everything, but at the same time I don't want life to end with me. I accept that I'm just one person. I don't want other people to not experience the beauty of life, or all the things that come with it. But at the same time, it's like let's say that I had to make a decision to do something that wasn't actually going to benefit me at all in my entire life. Like it was going to benefit someone long after I was gone. It's like, I don't know. I would be far less excited to do something like that than I would be to do something that would actually benefit me in the short term. So I don't know. I understand the decision making behind it, but I almost see it as like it's murder, but not immediate murder. If you're actively making a decision to do this when you know it's going to kill people in the future, it's tantamount to murder. It's the same thing.
Dude, I fucking hate those people with the coal rollers. Do you know what those are?
Yes, I hate that shit so much.
Those coal roller trucks, dude, that pisses me the fuck off. Like, why do you just not care?
Yeah. Like, it would cost you nothing not to do that.
Yeah.
It would actually be cheaper.
Yeah. You could just to not do that, to not be a fucking dick, and like literally just pollute the environment.
Yeah,
because like cars is such a huge problem. Like, have you seen those pictures in China where like, all right, on these days we don't drive cars?
Yeah, to solve the air like the air problem.
And it literally clears up the air so much. It's so noticeable, like the difference.
In my dream America, there would be no cars because of the public transport.
Because we have like tubes all over the, our cities, and we just like ride in these tubes.
High-speed railways. Somebody called Darius McCollum, dude. Bro, that can be it. I swear to God, if I ever become president, I'm going to create the greatest infrastructure in public transport ever created, and then I'm going to hire Darius McCollum to be the person who designs it.
Like, there hasn't been a president like in a couple of years whose like campaign like promise was to do something that's like good for everybody, and it's like, who would say no to that? Like, who would say no to like the best public transport system?
Exactly.
It's some like new age design, and like it's been tested and like developed in certain cities, and like they're gonna roll it out everybody.
Well, you know who would say no? Did you hear about Elon Musk basically like complaining about New York City Transit because he was like, he doesn't like how you have to how everyone goes to the same place, like all the poor people and the regular people, and like no matter who you are, you have to ride the same thing. I'm like, that's literally the fucking point. That's the good part about public transport. That's the whole point. That's the idea. God, fucking rich people.
He's digging tunnels under LA.
Yeah, because he's gonna like privately sell access to it. Like that's it. He saw his problem. He went to New York. He's like, hey, it's kind of lame how poor people and rich people get to ride on the same shit. And then he went back to LA and he's like, fuck it, I'll just make a rich people only thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're just like, the LA's like, fuck it, bro. Of course you can like just dig holes.
Yeah, please, Elon. Please dig holes in my ground.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's so.
The earthquakes won't fuck that shit. Actually, I heard it's actually safer to be in one of those tunnels when it's during an earthquake. Apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about
what problems that could have.
Right. Yeah, it makes me embarrassed when like states in this country basically like trip over their own dick trying to get rich capitalists to come and invest in their economy. Do you remember when Amazon was trying to build the headquarters?
They're like which state or like which city?
Yeah.
Please put it here.
Yeah. Did you see the document that they released?
And they were getting like tax cuts and shit like that. Just the shit there.
They literally released a document that said Amazon is going to make their decision based solely on like the extra benefits that we get from each state. Basically saying like, offer me the most possible money and we'll build our shit there.
Best offer. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was so stupid. And then I think it was Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, right? Ended up getting it in the end. And like he was talking about how Amazon is going to be like integrating into New York and like creating all this new shit, and like, oh my God, it's just embarrassing, bro.
Imagine like getting like a Amazon package delivered like through your window in New York City like by a drone and shit like that.
A New York City municipal drone dropping off your Amazon sponsored package.
Yeah, 1 hour deliveries and shit. That would be crazy.
Good. Only 3 slaves died to make this one package to deliver in 1 hour for you. It's not bad.
Everything's done by robots, so it'd probably be better, right? But also we're losing out on jobs, which is the bad
That's the thing, though. Robots are interesting because, like Elon talks about this all the time, and of course he's a fucking idiot capitalist. But like, from a socialist point of view, the dream is to create robots that do work for us. Like the dream would be if no human ever had to work again, if no laborer had to labor again. That's the dream. But in the capitalist society, automation is the enemy.
That's bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird when you think about, because like technology increases have always been a good thing for capitalists, but they're always a bad thing for the workers, which is why when I was in high school, I thought Luddites. Do you remember what Luddites are? They're the people who hated technology, and they would like go into factories and take like hammers and they would break all the machines so that way like they would be forced to do labor by hand. And they basically, it was almost like a religion where they hated factories and machines and shit as people were making them. In high school, I thought those people were fucking dumb. I was like, why would you hate this? This is amazing. We're making new technology. Now I totally get it, because when you think about it, if you're like an expert at a skill, Yeah, exactly. Someone comes along and just drops a robot that does your work 1,000 times faster,
Especially
and suddenly you
like
have a job.
nowadays, where like most people like get their full time jobs. Like, all right, I'm gonna work here for 15 years, and then all of a sudden, like your job got replaced. Like, what are you gonna do now?
Yeah, and now you're doing 5 people's jobs and getting paid only 10% more because they automated everyone else's jobs and they don't really need them anymore, and they're trying to push you out. And like things just get worse, and your money buys less, and you don't have health insurance, and like things are just bad. I understand why people don't like machines now. It makes perfect sense.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are we gonna do?
I mean,
I can think of something, but I can't say it on here.
Than actual humans. So we're probably gonna see like these futuristic cities, but you're gonna see like a slums right next to it.
Right, exactly. There's gonna be futuristic cities, and there's gonna be this gate to separate the rabble from the actual people that matter. Dishonored. Exactly. It literally is like Dishonored. Oh my god.
I actually never played that game, but I'm pretty sure it's something like that.
It is. I mean, basically, just the rabble live in the streets.
I have like haze dreams of playing Dishonored. Like I think I played it, but I don't remember any of it.
It's a good game. It was my favorite game of 2012, actually.
Dude, another thing that happened in Hong Kong, like people are waving that Trump picture of him.
the Stallone one.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, I did not think that was real.
Yeah, I didn't think it was real. I'm like, no way he retweeted this shit. No way.
He's a child.
I go to Twitter, I type in his name, I scroll down, I fucking see it, and I'm like, no.
SMH my fucking head, bro. I can't even.
And it's so sad though, like the Hong Kong people, like, cause like, fuck, dude, he's not a good guy, dude. He's not.
Yeah.
He really isn't a good guy.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's like a joke more than anything.
It's not a joke. Honestly, they don't know about our politics, dude.
Trump recently, dude.
You what? I'm sorry.
The world's been clowning on Donald Trump recently.
Oh my god! Yeah, I forgot about this. Did you see the video of them making fun of him behind his back?
Yeah.
That shit was so funny.
He walked out and he called Trudeau a two-faced bastard, so I thought, right?
Yes, that was the funniest shit, bro. Oh my god, I love imagining him sitting in the Oval Office like crying. He's literally crying because his his favorite Canadian boy didn't call him back. Oh god, that shit was so funny.
Justin?
I thought we had something.
He goes to the tree outside the White House and like crosses out fucking the D+J.
Oh man,
Donnie boy, like they're fucking it up, dude. I feel like he just might leave the office himself. He's like, yeah, I've had a good run, but it's over.
Nah,
this is the fucking thing that shatters him. And super clowned out.
He realizes that he has fake friends, and that's what makes him end his presidency. Yeah. And then he's gonna release like 25 Snapchat story about how he has fake friends and how he's deleting everyone's number. And if you're a true friend,
Yeah, to text them shit.
Yeah,
he,
exactly.
Slams the door, fucking blows up Drake.
He fucking outs Epstein. He just drops it casually. He's just like, fuck it, but I'm going off on everyone right now.
Epstein is alive. He's in Cuba. This is where he's at.
Yeah, Tekashi 6ix9ine cries a single tear.
Here's Justin Trudeau's 40 more blackface pictures.
Yeah. It's the greatest deal he ever made. I mean, getting blackface blackmail material for Justin.
He was like, yes, I was Russia's spy.
You got me.
Like, yeah, I feel, dude, maybe. So have you heard about Kamala Harris?
Yeah, she fucking dropped out, baby. Finally.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, thank God. Like, it was crazy because I was just looking at because people usually drop out based off campaign donations, like how much money they have left.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at that, and because of God, what was his name? Dropped out. I was looking at
Beto.
Potential. Yeah, Beto. I was saying maybe if someone like is low on campaign funds, they might drop out, and Kamala Harris drops out.
Yep. And I mean, like, I think that the real nail in the coffin for her campaign was that most recent poll that had her polling below Yang.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
She really fucking just fell off the shelf.
Yeah. I mean, people are kind of, they're honing in on the top three candidates. I mean, you're always going to have that latent Yang support, but The top three
Yeah,
people are
but
going to be
now
the
I feel
front
like
runners.
Kamala Harris like race supporters like just because she was
Right.
African American
There
like
were a
they're gonna go
lot
to
of
Yang
people
now.
on Twitter. There were a lot of black people on Twitter saying how like I don't know, they were like pissed because they weren't supporting, like there weren't any black people to support, which I totally understand. But then there were also were like the other side where there was like other people that were like, okay, I'm black and I never supported Kamala because her platform is trash. She's a fucking Fed cop and I don't want her to be president. Like, which I agree with. But at the same time, I do empathize with the fact that like if you're black, you literally have not been able to vote for like any people that look like you ever, except for one guy, and then he sucked. So it's like I get it, I get why they're mad, but like I don't know, I just hated Kamala. I don't like her platform. I don't trust her. I think she's a fucking cop. I think she's, she's if you want someone anti-establishment, she's awful. So I'm glad she's gone.
Yeah.
And it's about time. And like honestly, one down. Like more people need to fucking leave. Everyone needs to leave, except at minimum. Okay, let's say who are the people that are justified to stay in the race right now? I think obviously Biden, Warren, Sanders.
Yang.
Yeah, Biden, Warren, Sanders, Yang, and Buttigieg. I think those 5.
Yeah. And then the rest they can drop out.
Yeah, like all of those people just need to drop. And like I would argue that Yang should drop too, but I like his UBI shit, I think like that idea is pretty popular and I doubt he's going to drop out. And I don't blame him for it because he is bringing a lot of attention to it and I know he agrees with it a lot. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I doubt he'll drop out. But yeah, those other 4 probably shouldn't drop out because they're all they're all running pretty well. Hopefully Buttigieg drops out though. I hope he gets cold feet or something and just fucking drops out.
I feel like he's gonna try to snag up the Kamala Harris supporters if he's possible.
Oh no, no way black people. Why would black people vote for Pete Buttigieg, dude? Did you see? Oh my god, yeah. Did you see his fucking poll where he was polling 0% among black people in South Carolina or North Carolina? Fucking 0%. Like 40% of the people there are black.
Yeah.
That means he literally not even one person.
Yeah, so he's gonna try to like suck him up. He's like, "Oh, look, I do love black people and like business and black communities, and try to do some shit to gain their support." He's like,
yeah,
this guy is Pete, but I can get behind that.
Pete, yeah, black people don't like Pete Buttigieg because they can't pronounce his name. Yeah. Oh my god.
Kind of fucked, but yeah.
God, this is like unironically what people will say. Like, this is what Buttigieg supporters will say. Once the mask comes off, they're gonna be like, fucking dumb black people don't know who to support. Meanwhile, black people are like, oh, I just want to like have a job and like healthcare and shit. I hate how people like shame. This happens with minorities all the time, especially with black people, but also with other minorities like gay people as well too. With Pete Buttigieg, like you get shamed for supporting someone who doesn't look like you or doesn't live by the same lifestyle as you because of their status as that thing. Like let's say if you're a gay person and you're voting for Bernie Sanders because you like his platform. Like some people will be like, "Oh, you're gay and you're not voting for the one gay candidate." It's like, "Wow, you're really like real champion of gay rights." Or like if you're black and you're not voting for the one black candidate, they'll use that to shame you and be like, "Oh, you're not voting for the black person. Like, wow, you really care about black people. You really care about black people's rights and shit in the country." It's like, obviously I fucking do, because that's why I'm voting for Sanders, because he actually cares about black people. He's not gonna like have this token support from black people. He actually wants to lift working class black people out of poverty, unlike most of the people on the Democratic ticket. So like, I don't know, I hate that people do that because it's very easy to fall prey to that. Because if you're the one person, like if all black people are voting for Kamala Harris and you're like the one person who's like, wait, actually guys, I think Bernie Sanders would be better for us as black people, as workers. I think Bernie Sanders would be a better choice for us. Then you get ridiculed because, he's white, he's a Jew. It's not the person that you're supposed to support. I really hate that shit.
Yeah. Have you heard about the billionaire who's running, the Tom Steyer?
Oh yeah, I heard about it.
It's so crazy how someone with no like political background can just run for president because they're a billionaire.
I feel like I've heard this before.
Have you? Have you said this already?
No, in 2016, bro. Donald Trump. Hello.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's not a billionaire, is he?
Well, allegedly. I guess we'll find out soon, since they, they made his taxes like public or whatever.
Yeah, but I think it's crazy. Like, Elon Musk could run for president and like have a good chance.
Yeah, Elon Musk is basically Yang. Like, what if it was Elon?
He can't run. He can't run.
Oh no, he's South African. You're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that for a second.
Yeah, I did too. He has an accent.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. I mean, final note on the Kamala shit. Like, good on her for dropping out. I guess.
Yeah.
Like it's about time. Thank you, Kamala. Cop down. Yeah. I don't know. Like, hopefully she sets a good example for all those other people. But anyway, I think with
that,
if you're ready, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so let's get to this question. Will robots take the world over in the future?
Will robots take the world over in the future?
Yeah.
What do you mean by take the world over?
Like, will, robots be more commonplace, I guess? Like, they take the world over as in, I don't know. I like to let's discuss this about in like two ways. Let's consider like they take the world over as in they turn against the humans, and they're gonna run us out of here, and they're gonna take over the planet to be like super efficient and shit. Or the robots take over the world as in they took all our jobs. Everything's run by a robot or like android type deal.
Okay, so not necessarily sentient robots. So we have the Matrix scenario, and then we have the hell world capitalist scenario, or it could be like a socialist, a fucking utopia. Either way, I think that the automation thing is bound to happen, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like people might be against it and like say let's not do this, so people have jobs, because a very important thing, for like people are always talking about it. How many jobs did the president create?
Right.
Yeah, so it's like a huge thing. So I feel like it'd be.
Did he press the jobs button when he got to the office?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it could happen, but I feel like jobs is like super important. Like, it's so important when it comes to trying to become the president.
Yeah, I think if people fail to reject capitalism, if we cling on to this dying ideology forever until we eventually die, I think that that will happen, because obviously in a capitalist society you have to have workers. So like we've reached a point where we're able to automate workers so much that we actually have to slow ourselves down. We have to automate less, because if we were to automate everything that we possibly could right now, it would ruin the economy, because there would be no money. All the capital would flow directly to the top, like even more than it already does, and people would be fucked. So it's interesting. We've reached kind of a catch-22 situation. But I think that automation will take over. I don't think we're gonna have a Matrix situation, because I don't think human beings are going to live long enough to create that.
Oh, where robots take over? But let's say it did. So like Elon Musk sent out his 1 million drones per country to, I don't know, a shit ton of drones to like take over the world.
I mean, if you created if the drones were intelligent, I guess eventually they could, right? Because it's not like they can't die or anything. They can just make more of themselves too.
Like, I wonder, do we have the technology currently to stop that from happening?
Well, I don't think we have the technology currently to create that, so I don't.
Well, I guess, but I wonder if there's any feasible way we could I think it's possible. Like, if they're not so mobile and like they're grouped up, like just fucking gun them down.
I think if they had
an EMP and blast, like
they could make like a space base though, because they don't need to breathe. Like, if I was a robot, if I was an intelligent robot, I wanted to take over the Earth, I would immediately fly to the moon.
Yeah.
And then just create a factory making more robots, and then send them down to Earth.
The asteroids.
Yes, exactly.
Get the asteroids to build the shit, so you don't have to go to Earth.
Exactly, it's genius.
Food, so it's not like you need food. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then by the time you create your army, it'll be too late, and then you can just rain them down, because you can build them so that they can survive.
Can just fall to Earth.
Exactly, bro. It's fucking genius.
Holy shit.
Yo, cut this in case Elon listens to this, bro.
Get out. Holy shit.
Holy shit. Elon, crazy. Please don't. Okay, I came up with the idea, bro. Please just program like a little exception in for me.
And me. Holy shit, bro. What about me?
Hello?
But
this podcast must go on.
If this does happen, like if that situation would happen, what would you do in the first place?
What would I do? I don't know. Probably die immediately.
I would try to like live as long as I have, long as I can. Try to like not let the robots kill me. Hopefully, like I'll be able to find out a way to kill a robot if I do come across one.
Yeah. If they're self-replicating, I think you're just fucked. Like, there's just no way. Especially if they did the moon base idea, because you would literally have to go to the moon and kill them.
Yeah, that'd be hard as fuck.
Yep.
But I would try to live as long as possible, but eventually, you know, I'd die.
I feel like you would be the final survivor. Somehow, some fucking way.
Have you seen the that one Black Mirror episode where it was like the dogs and like they were all over the world and like the dogs like killed people and shit?
What the fuck? No.
It was all in black and white. So basically like the episode, how it was, I don't remember the episode name, but there's these dog like killing machines that it seems like their main focus to kill humans. Like they're excellent at tracking down humans. They have like fucking thermal vision, and like there's a shit ton of them. Basically, you know how it went was like a group of people stumbled upon one. It killed like most of them, and then at the end, she finally killed the robot, but it sent out an alarm, and you can just see like all these dogs going in on that location. And it was like super hard to kill. Like she had to like shoot it 3 times with a shotgun and like to the head or something. So like yeah, it would be crazy. Like imagine if you just had like killer robot dogs going after you all times of the day, and they could and they also can listen on your communication shit. So like you would have to like talk to people regularly. Like your communications would possibly, you know, they already like listening and stuff like that. So it'd be super hard.
I think you're right, man. I think we would be fucked. It would just be over.
Yeah. So Elon Musk, spare us if you ever decide to do that.
Yeah, everyone go out and buy a Tesla. Put your pre-order in for that new fucking truck.
Cybertruck.
Yeah, that shit looks awesome. By the way, don't kill us, please.
Honestly, like no joke at all. Like at first when I saw it, I'm like, yeah, that looks shit. But like honestly, I'm starting to fuck with it more and more.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's cool as fuck.
I mean, I wouldn't say no to one. It's still a fucking Tesla, right?
True. I mean, but 40,000 is pretty affordable.
To who, bitch?
I mean, compared to how much cars cost nowadays. I mean, 40,000 is like the regular, isn't it?
I mean for like a brand new,
like an SUV, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, for like a brand new off the lot. Yeah, it's pretty much par for the course, but still, that's hella expensive though.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm still probably gonna buy, you know, a grand car in like cash.
My car barely starts. That's why we need you right now. We're nearing the end of the episode, so everyone go right now to our Patreon, patreon.com/Left in the South Podcast.
And make sure to follow us on Twitter. We're still doing that giveaway. We're still going on with that giveaway on Twitter for the Blue Snowball microphone.
Yep.
All you have to do is just retweet, follow us, and reply with hashtag Left in the South, and you got yourself an entry into our giveaway.
Yep. And if you subscribe to our Patreon, you receive double entries into our giveaway. So you have about like 3-ish weeks, I think, 3.5 weeks maybe, to enter to the contest. So hopefully you guys all get in time.
Yeah, and with that, thank you for watching the 6th episode of Left in the South podcast. As always, I'm your host, David, friend here, Caleb, and we're out, baby.
Later.
That's a wrap.